Welcome to the coach's office for another week. Of course, we're joined by senior coach Mark Neal. And Mark, good to chat to you as always, particularly this week after Melbourne's first win of the season.
Yeah, it was good. It's always good, Bergs, to be involved with reward for hard effort, and the players have been working hard, and on the weekend to record our first victory of the season, it's a good starting point.
Yeah, 12 goals in the final term. I'm sure you wouldn't have predicted that, but what did you actually sort of take from that in your review?
The first part, no, you're right. We always thought that we were certainly within striking distance of the Giants, and if we knew if we continued to do the things that we had been working on, that would look after itself. But no, someone asked me that in one of the press conferences, and did we predict that we'd kick 12 goals in the quarter and that would be the highest score in that quarter? Obviously not, but we did feel that we were certainly in the contest. What we take from that is that we certainly have the ability to run out a game, and when we get the game on our terms, we can be very efficient with the ball, particularly getting it into the forward line. So they're the little things that we took out of it. And add to that, we felt that our experienced players on the day, led the rest of their teammates particularly well.
Overcoming adversity to actually show that you could do that as well. I mean, how much has the confidence lifted since getting that?
Yeah, time will tell on that, but I suppose there's no need to underestimate the pressure that the player group were under, and then to be able to produce that. There's a fair bit of character there, and we know now the job is to make that consistent and still be on the roller coaster because of our youth, but there's a fair bit of character shown by the players given the first 3 weeks, and we saw some things in the first half against the Eagles, and then we've seen some things against the Giants. So it's pleasing.
Do you also have to temper it a little bit against the least inexperienced team in the competition, with the Giants? Do you have to sort of just put that into perspective?
Always. It's still, Bergs, the number one sort of stat that people go through in terms of win and loss on any given day is the experience of the side, and once that gets out, I think it's more than 20 games on average per player. Your chance of victory is about 5%. It's that important, but it's still the manner in which we played that I think is really, really important, and the fact that we were able to come from behind and then not just limp over the line, but the ball use and the run, things like that, were particularly pleasing.
Yeah. Interesting, after 4 rounds, the top 2 teams are Essendon and Port.
Yep.
Both Melbourne have played, and of course West Coast, who was a flag favourite. How do you see those 3 teams? I mean, it's interesting to note that the D's have played those 3 teams. Where do they rank for you?
Yeah, those questions are particularly difficult to actually answer, especially early in the season. Obviously, when they played against us, all 3 teams played particularly well, and we were unable to handle particularly the manner in which they move the football. So we've got first-hand knowledge that when they have the games on their turns, they're particularly good. In terms of where they sit, I'm like you. We've got the AFL ladder. We're 4 games in. We need to wait a little bit longer, but all 3 particularly Port and Essendon, started the year in good style. And we know that the Eagles are missing quite a few of their first choice runners at the moment, and that's what can happen to you.
Yeah. Now on the road this week, first game away from the MCG this year, up at the Gabba. How challenging is it going to be to back it up?
Oh, look, firstly it is to get a win, and then to try and back it up. But AFL footy is always a challenge, Bergs. Doesn't matter where you're playing, what your opponent is, or who your opponent is. Sorry, but we've got a degree of confidence that we can get on the flight up to Brisbane and put out another strong competitive effort, and we're looking forward to running around again.
Yeah. One of the great things which has emerged so far is that Melbourne's injury list. I mean, over the years, the D's have battled a bit in the last probably 5 or 6 years with injuries, but there's only 2 guys on the injury list this week, and given it's round 5, I mean, it's a pretty remarkable effort at this stage of the season. How do you sort of view that? And I guess as a follow-up, how are Chris Dawes and Mitch Clark?
True. Look, we view it really well. It is a little bit misleading at the moment because we've got 5 guys that are going to come back all in one hit this week, and they'll come back through the VFL. Perhaps someone like a Lyndon Dunn, maybe even a Tom Gillies will be considered for senior selection, certainly across that component. But it's great. We have medical staff that are doing a particularly good job with David Misson controls the weekly program, the quantity and the intensity of the work that the players do. You know, that's his bag. They're doing a great job. We need to, if it can stay at that, that would be really good. Yeah, the two players that are on it are fairly significant for us. Often it's, you know, it's not how many injuries, it's who they're to. And the two players on our injury list at the moment are Mitch Clark and Chris Dawes. And we know that Neville Jett is unavailable through suspension. We're expecting Chris to complete this week's full training and then may well play in the VFL on the weekend. You know, we'd be looking at that. I suppose without Mitch, again, he'll be tested. At this stage, he's more unlikely than likely to play this weekend. But we're looking forward to having them up and running together, and we're hoping, you know, that in 2 to 3 weeks they'll both be in the AFL side.
Yeah. All right, well, good chatting to you, and best luck for this week. It's great to see the D's on the board, and I'm sure it's probably just eased the pressure a bit, and look forward to this weekend.
Johnny Bergs, thank you very much.
Great.